Do it. Hey, Troy, it's great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
Hey, thank you. Great to meet you too.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
you bet. So let's begin our journey into your work by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was changing everything for all of us. How
Mhm.
did you get through that era, and how did it change the way that you approach what you do today?
It kind of gave me a glimpse into how finite the time is, and by that I mean it's like we all think that I mean, not to be weird, we all think we have the next 10 minutes, and we don't know. We all think we have we think we have all this time to plan and do all the things that we want to do on our to-do list. And for me, it was like, okay, look, it was kind of like all this stuff can go like this. So whatever it is that you want to do, you might want to make some conscious effort in making sure you're doing it. So
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this. To get to the
mm,
heart and soul, there's so many things on paper that you do that you're all about as a
mm,
creative. But I'm going
mm.
to ask you this. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. It's career day. You're in a school, and one of the kids is like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" What's your answer?
Wow. Ooh. It has pivoted, but I would say I'm a writer. I'm an author, is what I would say. A dad first,
Yeah.
but a writer and author. Yeah.
So what did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream life?
Musician. Yeah, I wanted to
Okay.
be a musician. I wanted to tour the world. And I got to do all those things, which was really cool. But as a 12-year-old, I wanted to be a musician. That was it.
That was it. What was
Yeah.
the first live show you saw that blew you away? Was there a moment that made you think, I want to do this?
Yes. Well, the first thing that made me think I want to do it was in church. I was walking around singing in the house, and my mom was like, "This Sunday you're gonna sing in church," and I was like, "No," and she's like, "Yes." And so she put me up in front of the church with my two sisters, and we sang a song, and after we got done, the choir, but the audience stood up and gave us a standing ovation. And at
Wow.
that moment, I was like, "This is what I'm doing." Yeah.
So how did the music career begin and kind of take steam for you?
From that moment, it was like, just constantly just listening to, I mean, at the time it was gospel music because it was the 80s, and my parents were like, nothing else is coming into this house except for gospel music. So it was gospel music from then. And then I was just always trying to either be in a group in high school or being in a group, do talent shows and things of that nature. It was really kind of self-driven after that. I mean, my parents supported me and took me to things and, allowed me to be a part of those things because obviously I'm not driving in middle school, but uh, yeah, I just was constantly like either watching or listening to records or trying to be in talent shows and things of that nature.
So what about acting? What made you want to get on stage? You've had that part of your life as well. Talk to me about that.
Um, it just kind of happened, to be honest with you. It's like I like doing music, and for me, music is kind of it's all about connection. Even writing music, all of it is all about connecting with people for me. And so uh, in college was really when I started doing musicals ish. Before then I was just a straight musician person. I got a scholarship on a music scholarship, and so that was my focus. Acting kind of happened as a byproduct, if you will, of music. Yeah.
So take me back to where are you from Denver originally?
No, I'm originally from Houston, Texas.
Okay. What were
Yeah.
the early elements of your childhood that gave you this desire and got it in your blood to get on stage, either whether you were acting or as a musician? What were those early influences?
The first thing was, that performance as a like 10 or 11-year-old. But then what really was the thing that kind of got me on there was I love connecting with people. I love like, the energy that you get from, just performing and connecting and telling a story to people sitting out in front of you. So that was the biggest part. The connection, was the biggest part that kind of kept me, seeking it out.
How did you approach the stage? Did you get nervous? Did you get butterflies, or is it a second home? Do you just
It
get up there and you're on?
if anybody tells you that they don't get nervous before they get on stage, they are lying to you. It's like every time I get on stage, and actually, it's like you're always wondering, is this going to be a time that my voice cracks, or I forget the words, or what a myriad of things that can happen. Is this going to be the time? So it's funny because I watched a video because my son does sports and stuff like that. So I sometimes do, or I do like research for him to kind of help him with his mindset. But I watched this thing where Pele has this. There's this documentary on him, and he said, "Every time I step on the pitch, I am nervous. Every time."
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, eventually you connect with the other musicians and the audience, and you're in a state of flow, just because you're delivering and connecting. But yeah, every time before I step on stage, it's like, yeah, you're nervous.
Yeah, so in this incarnation, more hyper focused on writing and being an author, what was the early book for you? What gave you that love of either reading or wanting to write?
Well, there were the first book that gave me a thing of wanting to write more, honestly, was the book that I wrote with and for my son called Mental Toughness for Young Athletes. I wrote it because I wanted to help him work on his mindset as a young athlete, and I couldn't find anything that really was for young athletes. A lot of it were like, coaches or adults, writing books about the process for adults, and I had to kind of edit it and finesse it so he could understand it. And since I couldn't find it, and this was a new journey for me, I was like, why not create it? So when we wrote that book, I wrote it, with him, like kind of asking, like, is this how you feel, or is this what you think? And for him, because I wanted him to, have that mental shift. And Joe, like this thing, like ended up reaching hundreds of thousands of people. It's been licensed in different countries all over the world, and I was like, oh, there it is again. Connection with people. It's like I'm connecting with people all over the place and saying, people who are just a few steps behind me and saying, hey, this is what's coming, possibly, because every experience is different. This is what's coming, and here's how you can navigate that situation and not have it be something that, just takes you out or your young athlete out. So that was a book that made me go, hey, I kind of want to shift from doing music to connecting with people through writing. Yeah.
And a part of that journey, I'm sure, of building mental strength is having
Mm.
good inspirations or heroic forces. And you've clearly been successful in your life.
Mm.
Who has been that for you? Who has been that heroic force?
Yeah. Uh, I love my. I don't want to like focus only on my pops, on my mom, but it's
Yeah.
like my pop because my dad was great. He's amazing, but man, for me, my mom, man, she was like, she's been my like my hero for like how to do life and stuff like that. So yeah.
So if you could meet one person alive right now on the planet, whether it's a writer or a musician or a performer, actor, that have lunch, talk to them that might help you on your journey, who would that be?
Mm. That is a very good question. One person that would, a writer or a musician that might help me on my journey. That is a very good question. Mm, I don't, I don't know. Like, as someone that could, who would be the one person that I want to maybe talk? Who did they have to be alive, or can they
It can
be?
be a ghost. It can be one or the other.
Okay, I think it would have to probably be um, Maya Angelou for me. I really like her energy and the way she talks about the things that she's gone through in life.
Yeah.
So I think she would be the one for me that I'd be like, okay, tell me about this process of writing and connecting and serving readers and stuff like that.
I just listened to her book and she narrated it
Hmm.
about 8 months ago. And the things that she went through early on, the fact that she lived, like, are you kidding me? Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
you know? And then I remember hearing a story, and I think she recounted it in the book where somebody broke into her house and had a gun. And she just looked at him and said, young man, do you want to do this to yourself?
yes,
And that was it. That was
yeah,
it, you know?
yeah.
just calm, resolute. Do you want to do this? And that was it. So those things are amazing. Um, so I'm curious, you have this dream when you're a kid of doing things, and you've obviously accomplished these
Hmm.
dreams. And when you dream, you have these monoliths, these ideological notions of how your life is going to turn out. And when you actually get in the arts and you get
Right.
in these businesses, it's a different deal. What's the difference between the dream you had, the pristine notion of this life in the arts, and the life in the arts that has actually happened for you? What's the difference between those two worlds?
I would say the difference between those two worlds, and I talk to, my kids about this all the time. The difference between those two worlds is the amount of work required to make those things a reality.
Yeah.
I don't think that people understand like the amount of work and the amount of effort that it takes to maintain that career. And so that's the big thing. It's a lot of work. So yeah.
It, and that is kind of the fallacy when you see somebody make it big. You think they just arrive there. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, they're
Yeah.
getting all of these accolades. But at
Right.
the end of the day, like I remember about 2 years ago, I interviewed Samara Joy,
Oh,
and now
nice.
and now she's like the biggest name in jazz. And when I
Yeah.
was talking to her, I was like, "What's the weirdest thing about what you do every day?" And she said, "What we're doing right now. I just find it weird that I interview." And right? And
Yeah.
then I'm thinking about her being the Grammy, multi-Grammy, like all of a sudden they found out who she is
Right.
and how all of that took so many years of small clubs, no paychecks, parlaying money out between 20 to 30 people, bad
Yes.
places, bad management, stabbing in the back, all of it. No one knows that.
And the funny thing is, like, it's kind of the biggest gift you can give anyone who wants to be in the arts. It's like, okay, we all know what it looks like at the end, but let me tell you what it's going to look like along the way. And if you still, actually, it's funny because a mentor of mine told me before I went to LA, he said, so if you could, Troy, he said, Troy, if you can do anything else, do that. And at first I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you talking about? But it's like, yeah, because it's like the journey to the stuff is not for the faint of heart. It's something. It,
Well, being a dad too, writing this book and being involved, it's like parenthood. Like you
mm,
don't know until you have a child, A.
right.
And B, you don't know what you have to put a lot of work into it. It's an ever evolving piece of clay in front of you,
Yes.
you
And it
know?
likes to mold itself, which is even more fun.
That's it. That's the other side of it, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. So speaking of that work and that effort, clearly to get to where you're at today, to
Mm.
impact as many people as you have, you've had to work hard. But what is it that gets, when that alarm goes off, what gets you out of bed? What motivates you to not only do the work that you want to do at a high level, but to take care of your soul and your family? What's that collective energy every day?
Yeah. I want to help people who feel um lost or scared or confused or frustrated. I just want to, because there wasn't a lot. There was some, there wasn't, but there wasn't like a lot of people along the journey saying, don't do this, try this. Don't go here, try, go here instead. Oh, this is probably not gonna, there wasn't, and so I want to kind of be that for other people as much as I can. And that's the motivating force. It's like, who can I, or how can I help more people not, I mean, you're gonna have problems. Just don't have the same problems I had. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, let's skip those. So
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Yeah.
So let's say you have a dream tonight. You run into that young version of you that stepped off the stage the first time, that felt that adrenaline rush of the
Mhm.
crowd going crazy. And you could sit down and show a book of your life, a coffee table book. And that version of you is confused, like, what are you showing me? Who are you? And you're like, I'm the one in the future, and this is how my life turned out. What would that young version of you think? Would it be like, all right, what would be the thought?
I think that young guy watching where we go would be happy with what's going on, but he'd be like, well, I had plans of this, that, and the other too. Do those things happen? And like, so there'd be a happy confusion, I guess. I
Yeah.
think for them. Yeah.
So you've climbed on big stages, you've been in Star Search, you've done things that we as kind of the pedestrian blue collar people watch and we're
Mm,
like analyzing the whole thing. And it's a big stage. There's a lot going
mm.
on, a lot of things that we don't realize. If you could get up and into a front of a room with a podium of all these people and you could tell them a fun story from that era of your life of getting on those big stages, what would be the funnest story, anecdote that you could throw out?
Wow. Most- uh, wow. These are great questions. Let me see here. The most fun anecdote. Honestly, the most fun was performing in Rent for me. I mean, we were really a family on stage,
Yeah.
and we were really having fun just playing those characters and those roles during that show. I mean, we knew each other, and so there was this energy, this synergy of the actors and performers, and it's like they did a really great job casting because the people that were playing those roles were not too far away from the people they were playing. So, that was probably the most fun is being in that show and just really having a party on stage, really.
So are your kids inclined to be in the arts and music and all of that? Are they following your footsteps?
I have one, the my daughter is, the other two, are doing their own journey, but my daughter wants to do, so I'm really excited about that because I'm like, I can
Yeah.
actually help you now, whether or not she'll listen or follow, who knows. It's like
Yeah.
it's funny because today she was doing some physical therapy for her knee for dance and stuff like that, and the PT was like, man, I love musicals, and I went to go see Wicked, and she was like, he was like, have you ever gone to Broadway? And she's like, yeah, uh I went to see Wicked as well, and I went to go see Hamilton and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, I've actually been on a stage, and that's kind of cool that you, you
Yeah.
guys, I didn't say any of that because it's like, this is their conversation, but I was like, that's kind of fun, to think,
Yeah.
that we've
But
done that.
but it's that nature nurture thing because I know with my son, he
Mm,
picks up on things that I absolutely love to do. Like I grew up wanting to meet athletes and getting autographs. That was my
mm,
world. And he just started doing it. I'm like, how does that work? How does that
yeah,
apple fall from the tree?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know? It's a
Mm,
trip. Um,
yeah.
so let me ask you this, of everything that you've done in your life, and it's not just accomplishments, it's this evolution into manhood and who you are and what your place on
Mm.
this planet is. Of all of that, what are you the proudest of?
Being a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I'm and being a husband as well. In case my wife is watching this, yes, that too.
Yeah.
but but being a dad definitely is like, yeah, that man, that's awesome.
That's it. That's the stuff.
Yes.
So everyone has a perception of you in all these different incarnations.
Mm.
Family, friends, fans, everyone that you work with, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Mm. I my perception of me is um a guy that kind of gets it done no matter how uncomfortable or scary it might be. And then also the person who kind of figures it out when the collective is in trouble. That'd be my perception. It's like, now, is it always, fun? Is it always exciting? It's like, no, but I feel like I'm kind of the person that's like, okay, we've got a problem. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm that dude, I guess I would say.
So let's say we get off this call, a time machine pulls up in front of your house, and you can go anywhere in the history of Broadway and see the first show, see it all happen. First night, last night, what would be that show?
Huh. That is a very good question. The first night, first show I'd like to see that you know, that is a very I would probably want to see the first show of Rent, honestly. But I mean,
Okay.
but the one that popped in my mind that I didn't share because it's like not very popular is Pippin with Ben Vereen.
Yeah.
But aside from that one, because I mean, I just love his perform the way he performs,
Yeah.
and I think that'd be cool to see. But aside from that, I would like to see the first show of Rent. I think the energy in that place would probably be through the roof.
I remember growing up, and Ben always had this warmth, this welcoming
Yeah.
aura. You know, it was always there was Reading Rainbow, Burton,
Oh yes, a Lavar.
LeVar.
Yes,
He
yes,
was the same kind of cat. Like
yeah,
he when he got on there, there
yeah,
was this light that was emitted that was just absolutely made you believe and love
yeah,
everything that was going on. And there's just that was an era. There was eras that we went through of people
yeah,
that did that.
yeah,
And it was when TV and media was different. We're in a different, you know what I'm saying? But it was,
yeah,
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 yeah.
totally get it. So most importantly, talk to me about the book.
So there's this new book that I've written and released called Middle Management, and it's similar to his other one. So it's about helping people navigate midlife. As I don't know if you can see, it's like I've kind of been through,
I'm there, man.
right. And it's like right when you hit around 40, 40, 42, 43, 44, you know, kids start becoming their own people if they haven't already. The things that were your goals in the beginning are no longer really your goals, and you're like, there's a lot of time left here. And I made all these plans for, the first part. And the second part, I was like, what do I want to do? And so I went through that, like, kind of what I want to do in this second half. It's like, I don't really want to go off and, tour for 9 months of the year anymore, or be in hotel rooms every night, or, whatever else. So it's kind of like helping people go through the things that I use to navigate to finding my next thing in life, and really being comfortable and committing to it, because it took a long time. It took a lot of mental um, work and transition and stuff like that to kind of move into saying I write books, as opposed to anything else. So yeah.
Well, when you're in the process of writing a book, you really have to kind of go into your life, and that can be painful.
Mm.
There's episodes and years and things that you know that are hard. So when you look at this, was there any part of it that was difficult to revisit and come to grips with so that you could move into this revelation as a older guy on the planet?
Yeah, yeah. Well, there are many, but the toughest part was the first part that I suggest people do, with everything, and that's called the silent, like, walking meditation. That's really getting comfortable with who you are. That's turning off radio when you drive, like we used to, like, just hearing the wind in your own voice. At home, turning off all the Netflix and the phone dingings and the whatever else, and just really spending, you know, hours, days, weeks, whatever, with your voice, with your own self, really getting to know yourself, and getting ready to like yourself, and even go as far as loving yourself as an individual, because at the end of the day, that's the one person that's never going anywhere. So
Yeah. When you lay that head down on the pillow at night, there's only one person there.
only one.
That's it. I saw a clip recently with Fred Rogers, and they were asking him
Yeah.
what he's liked the best about being an older guy, and he said the quiet, just
Yeah.
the quiet. You know, um, yeah, it's wild, man. And I remember going. I'm 53, but after I turned
Mm.
50, my stepdaughter, we were waiting at All Things. We were at this place called Silver Dollar City, south of Kansas City,
Okay.
and it was called the Time Traveler. And she was like, "What have you learned after 50 years?" And I said, I have learned that everything when you get to a certain age in your life is like a big circle. If you didn't deal with it early on, you're going to deal with it later on,
It's coming
right?
back.
Just
Absolutely.
full circle, dude. I mean, whether it's you write a book or whether you run into a deja vu moment, an
Yep.
ex, whatever it is, you're going to come to that place, that little marker on the stage that you never thought was there. And you got to perform
Yeah. Yeah.
improv.
Yeah. Yeah. It all comes back. And that's why it's funny when you talk to kids, they're like, dude, I tell my kids all the time, I'm not like a genius or anything like that. I've just seen everything you're about to do before.
You've been
Um,
there.
I've seen it. Like, right. Yes. Yes.
You sat in the wine barrel and now you're ready to come out and teach
Yes,
them how to drink the wine. That's it.
exactly.
So if anyone wants to get the new book, they want to get the previous book, delve into your creative world and questions, anything, where do they go?
Yeah, so it's really easy. You can go to troyhorne.com. That's TroyHorne.com. Or if you want to get a free download that I made for people that are looking to make that middle journey, it's middlemanagement.bio. And that's a free download that gives people the first 5 steps of kind of working through that midlife craziness that we all go through.
Huh?
If we're lucky, when we're lucky.
Right. That's it. Amen.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for your
So much
story.
fun.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. This is cool.
Yeah.